Thanks to my friends who showed up to support me. Hi, I'm James. I'm an ambassador at Daytona, and Daytona makes cloud sandboxes for AI-generated code. So, yeah, what's the purpose of having cloud sandboxes? Well, basically a couple years ago when people started using LLMs and they realized you can make really powerful agents by generating code and then running that code, there was a problem of, where are we going to run this code? If you run that code on the same server that's where the LLM is running, or sorry, where the agent is running, you have a lot of security issues. The existing solutions out there, the existing hyperscalers and solutions like Docker, were just not cutting it. So at that point, I was actually building AI agents myself, even before I was working for Daytona, and I was looking for solutions like this, where I can build AI agents that generate code and then run that code. So for today, rather than just show some slides, I'm going to actually work through a demo that I've been working on recently, and it uses a OpenCode. Has anyone here used OpenCode? Cool, nice. Maybe like 10, 20 people. Has anyone here used Claude Code? Okay, so OpenCode is an open source alternative to Claude Code, and what you can actually do now is you can actually integrate Daytona with OpenCode, so whatever you're building runs inside of a Daytona sandbox. So I think this will really quickly show the power of cloud sandboxes for you all. So as you know, if you've ever used OpenCode or Claude Code, it runs in the terminal. So you run OpenCode. And if you're running this normally without the plugin or without any kind of sandboxes, and you say, what operating system am I running on? It's going to respond you're running on a Mac, on Mac OS. But so here, because I have the Daytona extension enabled, it says I'm running on Linux. So this is actually running all of the commands on a cloud sandbox. So every session that I create here, it spins up a new sandbox in the cloud where all of the code is run safely without having any possibility to affect the code on my computer. So I'm just going to spin up a few one-shot prompts here. I'll say, can you make a web app in the theme of newspaper to show the trending GitHub repos. And then while that's running, I can actually just spin up a new session, and that automatically creates a new Daytona sandbox. Does anyone else have any ideas? I'm out of ideas. Maybe make an Octocat. Did you have one? No. Make an Octocat themed space shooter game. Okay. So while those are running, you can see here, you can see your different sessions. And each one of these is running in a different cloud sandbox. No commands run by the agent can affect my local computer that it's running on. And that's the key, as well as the fact that this is running in the cloud. So I have access to those resources. So I can switch between and see, did not mean to close it. Let's see if that's still going. Perfect. So it looks like it still goes in the background if you close it. So while that's running, we can see how it's running. Maybe I need to continue them. I hit Control D. Let's go to the other one. Make sure they're continuing. Fortunately, the cloud sandboxes will stay open until you delete the session. So while that's running, I'm going to walk you through the process of how I created this agent using TypeScript. and using Daytona. Or maybe we'll try it out actually since it just finished. So by the way, this gave out a URL. If you're using Claude Code or Daytona, you're going to see localhost :8000. It's running on your local computer. But since this is running using the Daytona plugin, you have here a cloud URL. So let's run that. Let's see which one. We got. Let's see. I'll just say it's missing the main page. And then let's go to the other session, see how the other one's doing. Let's see. Sometimes it might have forgotten to start the server. It's possible. It's an agent. It won't get everything right on the first try. As you know, if you've ever used these. Okay, here we go. Server started. So let's run this and see what's running at the URL. Okay. Well, it definitely did create something. It has some JavaScript and some CSS here. Let's see, missing the HTML file. And let's try this one. As you can see, it's super useful to be able to run multiple agents at the same time. So this is one that finished, the first prompt. And yeah, I mean, thanks. I didn't do anything. But yeah, we were all getting a little nervous there, right? So yeah, this is just, as you can see, the key thing I want to show here is that if you run this using Claude Code locally, it's going to be running on localhost. And that means, if the server crashes, maybe you crash your computer. This is all running in Cloud Sandboxes. So let's walk through. Let's walk through and, oh, okay, here's the second game as well. So we can start that. And you notice here, I don't know which one is the Octocat here, but so this is, this is how OpenCode works. It's great. And another thing you notice here is these are both running on port 8000, right? So that's another great thing about sandboxes. You can have as many as you want. So approximately how much time do I have left? Is anyone keeping time? How much? About 5 minutes? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go in 5 minutes, and I'm going to show you how I built this using Daytona. Cool. Okay. So let's go through. So TypeScript SDK. I'm going to go through pretty fast, but fortunately, you're going to see how easy it is to do something like this with Daytona. So import the SDK in TypeScript. This single line is all you need to spin up a new sandbox. Sandbox has its own Linux operating system inside of it. Then I can also share these. I'm also going to share the code with you all later. Then I just created a simple helper function which creates a map of sandboxes for the unique session IDs, because we want to have multiple sessions running in the agent simultaneously. We need to have some kind of map keeping track of which Daytona sandbox goes to which one. And I also save that to a file, so if you close and open again, as you saw, it still works. OpenCode, unlike Claude Code and the other command line agents, it allows you to actually create custom plugins, which means that you can override each of the tools. It has tools like read file, write file, etc., edit a file, run bash commands. So all you do is you just define this plugin object. You give a description for each tool. You give the arguments for the tool, and then you define a custom function. And yeah, that's the format. So this is what my function looks like to run a bash command. And this here sandbox.process.execute command. That's the Daytona SDK, TypeScript SDK. To do file operations, it's the same. You just do sandbox.fs for file system, download file. Maybe a slightly more complicated agent tool would be edit file. So instead of rewriting a file each time, the agent will use find and replace. So this is a find and replace function. We first download the file with Daytona. We do the find and replace, and then we upload it again. Finally, in order to get that URL at the end that I demoed to you, we need to know like what's the HTTP public URL of the sandbox. So this is a simple function using the wrapping the Daytona SDK, where it takes the port number and then it gives a unique URL, which is going to return like a public port 80 version of that anyone can access. We use a hook in order to detect when the session is deleted. I didn't demo that, but when you delete a session, it will delete the Cloud Sandbox. That way I could spin up 100 and I could delete them all and it wouldn't cost me anything after that. Finally, there's a simple transform plugin that I run just to give it some additional prompts to let it know it's in the sandbox and let it know where the home directory is and these kind of things. So I'll just take like 2 more minutes, just talk a little bit about what's different about Daytona versus the others. Daytona is, as I mentioned, it's open source. It's built from scratch, a custom orchestrator, and all of this technology is built specifically for AI agents. You can start up sandboxes in less than 100 milliseconds. As you notice, when I started the agent, there wasn't any delay before I could start running commands. I could run hundreds or more of these sandboxes in parallel, each with a different agent using it, which I definitely couldn't do on a normal server. It's super secure. There's no ability to contaminate code running on one sandbox to the next. And you can pause them and leave them paused or leave them running for as long as you like. You can also use Docker files to create your own custom containers so that when they start up, it has all the dependencies installed. And there's a lot more tools that I could talk about aside from the ones I showed, like Git. There's computer use, so you can actually run a desktop on them, SSH, and there's just more and more use cases. Training reinforcement models, of course, AI coding agents. You can use it for generating charts. A lot of really, really cool things and more things coming up. So yeah, check out the documentation if you'd like to learn more. I made a bunch of other cool examples that are also in our docs. And this is the Slack channel where you can join and you can chat with me and the rest of the team.